Pokemon Source was made by Vitron, the same creator as for Pokemon Scythe. When I played and reviewed Pokemon Scythe, I was pretty negative about it, calling it unpolished and unfinished, although it did have potential. Vitron left me a comment on that review, telling me he was working on a new game, Pokemon Source. From the moment he left that comment, I was anxious to see what Pokemon Source would have to offer. Let me tell you, as Vitron himself said, lessons have been learned this time. Hello everybody and welcome to my review of Pokemon Source. How has Vitron learned from Pokemon Scythe, and is this game worth playing? Hey you! Yes, hi there, real quickly. If you like what you're seeing, consider subscribing. I upload ROM hack related content like this every week, so be sure to subscribe if you enjoy watching this. Thanks, let's get back to the video. Pokemon Source is a very nice introduction that intrigues you immediately. You play as the character Asher, which throws you deep into the story from the start as your name is set, triggering thoughts about destiny, a theme that gets thrown at you throughout the entire story. The introduction does a good job of leading you into the situation you're thrown into and immediately involves the background of your family, which plays a huge part in the story as well. You play this game in the Upest region, a region that was completely customly made and has a load of beautiful graphical features, something Pokemon Scythe already had and something I will discuss later on in the graphics and music section of the review. The story slowly gets revealed to you as you progress through the game, and you know the small pieces of the story falling together as you discover more and more about the evil team that is ruled by your mom and the apparent eclipse that happened a long time ago. Or did it? The eclipse plays a very grand role in the whole of this game, constantly being referred back to and really becoming the main theme, as every unusual thing that happens can be linked back to the eclipse, including the eclipse Pokemon you get introduced to, which is something I will harp back to later in the review. Although I really like the story of this game, the themes and where it takes you, I have to admit that the writing is a bit off. Everything is readable and you can follow the story just fine, but sometimes I felt the writing was a bit lazily done. This includes things like grammar and spelling, but also just the way people talk in this game. Sometimes it feels like everyone speaks like they're 12 years old, and it sometimes bothered the intensity and depth of the story for me. Nevertheless, the idea and concept of everything in the story of this game and the fact that the theme gets introduced later makes the story fun and unpredictable. I enjoyed it dearly. For the most part, you're not going to have a very hard time finishing Pokemon Source when it comes to the difficulty of the battles. Although the story plays such a big part in the game, some more attention to the difficulty would be extremely appreciated here, as most battles you do are pretty lazily done, just giving some high levels to the Pokemon you're fighting, so you have to grind a bit to beat the battles more easily. Most of the time, to get through routes, you just fight a never-ending stream of trainers until you get to the next city, which I thought were a bit too many on each route. This makes it so most routes just feel tedious to go through, and it gets a bit boring after time. Most of the boss battles are a bit better than the route battles, being a bit harder to get through due to the bosses having even higher level Pokemon or some of the custom Eclipse Pokemon from the game, which is much appreciated. Sadly though, a lot of the battles through the rounds you do instead of gym battles are still very easy and predictable, making them once again a bit boring after the first couple of times. The difficulty wouldn't even be too bad if the AI of the trainers were at least good enough to counter against certain types or even use attacking moves, but that is sadly not so with a lot of Pokemon. There were times where Pokemon spammed moves like Taunt or String Shot, inciting an obvious lack of attention to the moves and the AI of the trainers. In general, the difficulty was a bit lazily done. There were too many trainers and the battles became quite predictable after a while, but the addition of the Eclipse Pokemon and the bosses being decently hard made it okay to get through. I'm not the biggest fan, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. Pokemon Source put some extra hot sauce on the features of this game as they turned out to be spicy. Featuring new battle mechanics, almost everything worth featuring from the earlier generations of Pokemon, as well as side quests and soaring, there is pretty much nothing to complain about concerning the features of this game. There are so many nice features in Pokemon Source. As said, there is an entirely custom region that you play in called the Upest region, and the game got the whole 9 yards when it comes to the general features from generation 1 through 8. You got the physical special split, the modern repel system, reusable TMs, and all Pokemon available up to generation 7. Additionally, Pokemon Source uses no HMs at all and makes it nicely for things like Fly or Surf. There are actually some more Pokemon in the game with a new custom mechanic called Eclipse Pokemon, which I will go a bit deeper on in a moment. The game is great at directing you to a place when you need to go somewhere, as you always instantly get reminded where to go if you're lost. Furthermore, the game makes up greatly for not having Fly, as you have the Metro system to move you around to wherever you want if you need to move to a city, and I really like that idea to keep HMs out of the game. There are also quests in this game. The questing is a really nice feature, as you get something extra to pay attention to beside the main story, and you get nice rewards for doing them. Most of the time, the quests are just to find something or someone from another trainer, which can be a bit boring if you're doing it too much, but in general, they are a nice thing to keep you occupied if you want to have some distraction from the main story. You can only do one quest at a time, which is a bit bothersome but does make sense, and you eventually get access to special quests delivered by more important characters that will continue through the normal quests and could arc over the entirety of the game. Now, about the whole Eclipse Pokemon thing. I'm not going to spoil too much about it, as it's a pretty important theme in the game, but Eclipse Pokemon are a whole nother type of Pokemon types that can be battled, caught, and fought throughout the game and add a lot to the story as well. Considering the Eclipse becomes the main theme of the game throughout the story, I really liked how everything became centered around the Eclipse and the Eclipse Pokemon, as you really started to feel the impact of the story on your features and surroundings, which was very nice. One more thing to mention is that to the end of the game, you get the soaring ability to move around the map in a stylish fashion. This isn't a particularly groundbreaking feature, but it's still nice to demonstrate how much Vitron was able to implement into the game and really make it feel modern. The features in Pokemon Source were smooth, modern, and really gave you a quality feel throughout the entire game. I was a big fan of the features, and especially how they improved over Pokemon Scythe. The graphics and music of this game were super tight, in line with Vitron's previous game of Pokemon Scythe. The map, your surroundings, and the region in general were very nice to walk through, and contrary to Pokemon Scythe, there is a large custom music library to accompany the beautiful graphics there are and the battles you do. Attention makes everything more beautiful, and that stands true throughout the whole of Pokemon Source. I was pleasantly surprised by how much custom graphic design was done with the cities, the routes, and all of the cutscenes, as well as the few custom designs from the Eclipse Pokemon. The cities in Source were very nicely designed, and there was a really good split between the vibes and looks of the modern cities and the old school cities, as both were designed with much attention and detail, which I always love. I am also very fond of the custom music that was inserted. There are honestly some really nice beats and songs to be found here, and I found myself enjoying a lot of the music during a lot of things you did. There are 62 completely custom made songs, and there are few I did not like. I like the graphical aspect as well as the musical aspect of Pokemon Source a lot. They were both modern, creative, and a pleasure to play through. Big kudos to the design of this game. Pokemon Sword is one of the hot, new, modern ROM hacks that's out there right now, and I had a great time playing it. Well, I mean, it was hot when I wrote this like 2 weeks ago, but college started, so what the f do you want from me? I really like the theme of the Eclipse throughout the game, becoming the main theme of the story, and I really love the flow, graphics, and music of this game as well. The difficulty was a bit questionable in my opinion, and the writing could have been a bit better, but in general I thought this was a great game. Vitron showed us his capabilities and showed us that Pokemon Scythe is now something of the past. I will give this game a 7.7 out of 10. It is definitely worth giving it a try. Alright, that was it. Thanks everybody so much for watching this review. I hope it was helpful to you. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like. And if you would like to be notified when I release other ROM hack related content, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Alright, that was pretty much it. Thanks everybody so much for watching and have a great day.